The movie begins in Ann Arbor, Michigan, with a young teenager named David Rice narrating his story. From the very start, David admits he's not like everyone else, that he can be in one place one moment, and halfway across the world the next. But when we first meet him, he doesn't look like a special person at all. He's just a lonely, bullied high school kid with a crush on his classmate Millie Harris, who dreams of traveling the world. David's life changes forever one snowy afternoon. Wanting to impress Millie, he gives her a snow globe of the Colosseum in Rome, telling her she deserves to see the world one day. Later, while standing on a frozen river, David is mocked by another boy, Mark, who throws the globe onto thin ice. David follows, but the ice cracks beneath his feet. He falls into the freezing water, trapped under the ice, fighting for his life as the current drags him. He pounds helplessly against the surface, and just as he's about to drown, he suddenly finds himself transported, soaking wet, into the safety of a library thousands of miles away. Completely stunned, David realizes he's not dead, but has somehow teleported. He manages to get himself home unnoticed, but his life from that moment forward is forever altered. Over the next few days, David begins experimenting. He discovers that by concentrating hard on a place he wants to be, anywhere he's seen before, he can teleport instantly. He calls it jumping. His first attempts are clumsy. He moves objects, trips over himself, and sometimes crashes into walls. But soon he realizes the enormous potential of his gift. David's home life is miserable. His mother, Mary Rice, left when he was just 5 years old, and his alcoholic father treats him poorly. Seeing no future there, David makes a life-changing decision. He jumps straight into a bank vault, steals piles of cash, and disappears without a trace. At just 15 years old, David Rice leaves behind his old life, never looking back. Fast forward several years, and David is no longer the awkward teenager from Michigan. Now in his 20s, he lives in a lavish penthouse apartment in New York City, surrounded by expensive toys, fast cars, and gadgets. His life is one of freedom and indulgence, funded entirely by stolen money from his countless jumps into bank vaults. David has mastered his ability. He can jump anywhere in the world in seconds. Paris, Tokyo, London, the pyramids of Egypt, the beaches of Fiji, it's all just a thought away. He lives the ultimate fantasy of travel and wealth, without rules or consequences. But his carefree life comes to a sudden halt the day he discovers he isn't alone. One night, David returns home to his apartment to find the locks broken. Inside, a mysterious man named Roland Cox, played with cold intensity by Samuel L. Jackson, waits for him. Roland explains calmly that he knows what David is, and he's been tracking him. His words are chilling. Only God should have the power to be everywhere at once. Roland reveals he's part of an ancient secret organization known as the Paladins, whose mission is to hunt down and kill jumpers, like David. To them, jumpers are abominations, people who should not wield such godlike power. David barely escapes Roland's attack, jumping frantically across cities while Roland's team storms his apartment, electrocuting walls with specialized equipment designed to restrain jumpers. David realizes for the first time that he's being hunted, and that his gift comes with deadly consequences. With his life in danger, David decides to return to his hometown for the first time in nearly a decade. He visits his old high school and reconnects with Millie, the girl he never stopped thinking about. Millie, now working at a bar, is stunned to see him alive and wealthy. David charms her and offers to whisk her away to Rome for an adventure, something she always dreamed of. Meanwhile, Roland continues his relentless pursuit. Using evidence left behind in David's destroyed apartment, he tracks David's movements across the globe, determined to corner him. In Rome, David and Millie visit the Colosseum, where their romantic getaway takes a shocking turn. Inside the ancient ruins, David encounters another jumper for the first time, a reckless young man named Griffin O'Connor. Unlike David, Griffin has been living as a jumper on the run for years. He's brash, sarcastic, and openly aggressive. Griffin reveals the truth. The Paladins have been hunting jumpers for centuries, and no jumper has ever truly won against them. Griffin has dedicated his entire life to fighting back, killing Paladins wherever he finds them. David is shaken. Until now, he thought he was unique. Meeting Griffin shows him both the possibilities of his power and the deadly consequences of exposure. But David still wants a normal life with Millie, something Griffin dismisses as impossible. Roland and the Paladins ambush David and Millie in Rome. During the chaos, David barely manages to escape, but Millie is left traumatized and confused by his powers. For her safety, David tries to distance himself, but his feelings for her keep drawing him back. Meanwhile, Griffin reluctantly allies with David, teaching him advanced techniques of jumping, like battle jumping, using his powers in the middle of combat. Griffin's hideout is filled with stolen weapons, souvenirs, and photos of paladins he's killed. He's a soldier in a secret war, and he warns David. "You think you can have a normal life? Forget it. Paladins will never stop." David tries to balance his desire for Millie with the reality of the war he's now part of. But Roland is always close behind, tightening the noose. In a shocking twist, David's estranged mother, Mary Rice, reappears in his life. For years he believed she abandoned him as a child, but the truth is far more complicated. Mary is a paladin. She left not because she didn't love him, but because she couldn't bear to kill her own son after discovering his gift. Her reappearance leaves David reeling. His entire life has been built on the idea that he was abandoned, unloved, and unwanted. Now he learns the truth. His mother has been living a double life, working for the very people trying to kill him. The tension explodes in the film's climax. Roland captures Millie, using her as bait to draw David into a trap. Griffin warns him that rescuing her is suicide. The Paladins will be waiting. But David refuses to abandon her, declaring that he won't run anymore. In a desperate final battle, David and Griffin storm the Paladins' stronghold. Using his powers creatively, David teleports cars, buses, and even entire sections of buildings into the fight. Griffin shows off his deadly combat experience, leaping through space with brutal efficiency. The battle stretches across multiple locations as David and Roland face off. David jumps them from New York to London to the desert, finally trapping Roland in the middle of a canyon, far from civilization, where he cannot escape. Though David rescues Millie, the danger is far from over. The Paladins remain active, and Roland is still alive, trapped but unbroken. David now knows he can't live a simple carefree life anymore. His gift has thrust him into a secret war, one that will never truly end. In the film's final moments, David confronts his mother, Mary. He doesn't forgive her for leaving, but he acknowledges the truth of her choices. Their relationship remains fractured, but for the first time, David understands the weight of who he is and the power he holds. As the movie ends, David and Millie stand together, uncertain of what the future holds, but ready to face it.